So thanks for joining. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are talking about customer experience and how to create loyal customers that rave about you. My name is John Way, and I have more than 20 years of experience in the services business. And my specialty is designing processes that deliver great customer experience at scale. And scale is the key, right? One financial advisor once told me, they try to make themselves as available as possible to all their customers, but they can't be everywhere. And they're right. You can't be everywhere. But guess what? You can still scale without having to clone yourself or work 24/7, nights and weekends. So that's what we're here to talk about. How do you actually do that? How do you deliver maximum value at scale? Well, I can tell you it doesn't happen by accident. It takes planning. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. And so what I'm going to be doing is sharing 9 total actionable ideas with you today. And so we're going to go pretty fast. We've got a lot to get through, and I want to make sure we have enough time for Q&A at the end. So if you are a note taker like myself, you can use this list that I'm going to be showing throughout the presentation as a guide. I'll be showing you this list multiple times throughout the session. If you are not a note taker, I'll be sending an email with the link to these slides and a replay of the session. That's why it's being recorded sometime tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, we all know having great customer experience is important. And in the financial services industry, customer experience is a critical differentiator. So when you can actually offer great customer experience, it drives loyalty and referrals. But the question is how? How do you actually do that? Is it through things like giveaways, or maybe having lots of client appreciation events? Or maybe it's having an actual person for customers to actually talk to, like human interaction. That's what our opening poll is about. Because whatever the secret sauce is, you want to do more of that, right? And so if you actually take a look, PwC actually did research on this and asked their customers what they value, what's important to them. We had 5 choices in our poll. So let's go from the least important to the most important. So the least important you can see here, we had 5 choices. We started with fun and events. So fun, you can see in PwC down here, it's right at around 55-ish or something like that. Unique experiences under PwC, you can see that's crossed over 60, so it's about 60-ish. About 60-ish% of people thought it was important. Loyalty program, which was one of our other choices, loyalty program and giveaways comes in at around 65% and so. Human interaction comes in right at around 70. And then convenience comes in really high 70s, almost 80s, almost 80%. And then speed and efficiency comes in at 80% and just a little bit over. That's really, really high. More than 4 out of 5 people value this. Now, you probably notice that the dots are going upwards to the right. And so let's take a look at the left axis. The left axis shows how many customers are willing to pay more to get that particular benefit. So you can see here for our 5 choices that was in our poll, fun and unique experiences, you're hovering around 15, maybe 25-ish% of people are willing to pay more for that. Loyalty program, you're around 30%. Human interaction is about the same, around 30%. So about 1 in 3 customers are willing to pay more for it. Convenience, however, you jump up almost all the way to 50, so about 1 in 2. And then above 50, you have speed and efficiency. So a lot of customers are willing to pay extra for this. And that's the opportunity here. Now, if you look at the whole chart from PwC, you can see everything that customers are expecting. And you can see a lot of things that fall into the middle right there. Social responsibility, personalization, easy mobile access. It's all kind of bunched in the middle of the pack. And what stands head and shoulders above everything else is in the top right. And that top right, you can see speed and efficiency, convenience, friendly and knowledgeable service, and easy payment. So if you're going to invest your time, your money, your energy on making customers happy, be sure you're focusing on the right things. And this is important because according to PwC survey, for the financial services industry, there is a gap between what customers are expecting their experience to be and what they actually get. As you can see here, 72%, almost 3 out of 4 people, said customer experience was a key driver for making purchasing decisions. But only 53 are actually satisfied with what they're actually getting. So this gap is real. And so if you're going to take the time to focus and prioritize on delivering great customer experience, the opportunity to grow your firm is right there. Because remember, many customers are willing to pay more for better experience. But if you ignore this data, the chances of customer churn is also there as well. And so that's our number one on our list of actionable ideas. As PwC says, focus your time, money, and energy on efforts that actually increase speed and efficiency, convenience, friendliness, and knowledge. Those are the core demands of your customers. Now, if you walk away from this session with only one thing, let this be the one, because this is the most important one. Now that you know what to focus in on, let's talk about how to actually apply it on a day-to-day basis. So customer experience is defined as the sum of all interactions a customer has with your company. Now, we don't have time to go through every single interaction today, but we can cover several of the biggest problem areas. So number one, the biggest problem area is customer onboarding. According to the American Banking Association, customers are 3 times more likely to churn during their first 90 days. Why? Because that's when customers have the most amount of work to do. There's so many I's to dot, so many T's to cross in the first 90 days, and they don't see any value until the end. And that's the risk here. You know how it is. There's all these documents that customers have to find and send over, questionnaires that they have to complete, maybe even accounts that need to be set up, especially if you have a client portal of some kind. It's almost like teaching a new employee how to work with you. All your processes, your tools, getting system access, roles and responsibilities, expectations, and getting customers to understand all of that and do everything correctly and on time doesn't happen by accident. So how well you guide customers through every single one of those details become either a positive or a negative on their overall experience. And let's just be honest. People today are super impatient, right? So you really have to manage expectations well and get rid of every single possible speed bump. Here's an example. So one owner I was talking to used to send out the 20-page packet for new customers to complete after the kickoff meeting as their homework. This is the cover sheet. And you can see here, it's got questionnaires, it's got checklists, documents to sign, statements, tax returns to provide, systems to log into, on and on and on. And he was complaining about how customers weren't completing the packet. They weren't reading the instructions, they were dragging their feet, and he had to constantly chase responses. And you can imagine why, right? If you got this in an email, 20-page packet, I mean, it's a lot. And so I told him, I said, I understand you need all of this data to do your job, but come on, it's super overwhelming. You need to have a very different approach for collecting all of this information. And in fact, the industry advice from Intuit, Accounting Today, FPA, they all give the exact same advice, which is you need to break up your ask during onboarding into easy, digestible steps. Otherwise, customers just get overwhelmed and they're not motivated to do anything. It's like trying to get someone to exercise who doesn't want to exercise. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work. And so that's idea number 2. Break up onboarding into easy to follow steps. It's going to be a lot easier on everybody, your customers, yourself, especially customers, because they can actually see progress faster if they're going step by step. And it's going to be easier to motivate them because when they see progress, they want to move forward. So again, how, right? How do you actually do this? So let's zoom in a little bit more and take a look. So idea number 3, make sure every step along the way is clear and immediately actionable. Basically, you got to get rid of all speed bumps, every single little one, every little thing that can trip people up, cause confusion, give them an excuse to push it off, you're going to have to get rid of. And here's an example of what I mean. When you're asking for customers to do something, you're probably sending out an email that looks like this, right? A lot of text, a lot of instruction, and let me be honest, this is going to be a challenge for a lot of people in today's world because, as you probably all know, a lot of people don't read. I literally had people tell me they don't read emails with a lot of text. They just skim it. And if it takes more than 2 scrolls on their phone, they're like, I'll look at it later. And we all know exactly what happens after that. They're going to lose track of it and they're going to forget. Out of sight, out of mind. In fact, studies show that 32%, that's almost 1 in 3 customers, say they've actually lost track of important emails because of this. And so now you end up having to waste your time chasing them, chasing responses. And so this is why you have to turn that email into something much more actionable like this. So if you need a signature, just click the button to electronically sign. Or if you need to make a payment, just click the button and pay. Or if you need to collect information, click the button and fill out an online form. Make every single one of these emails highly actionable in your step-by-step process. Because when the customer opens up your email, you've got their attention right there. It's so hard to get someone's attention today that when you actually get it, you need to make sure you actually use it, especially during onboarding, because you want the customer to keep moving forward. And remember what I said about that long email and 2 scrolls on their phone and they don't read it? Well, this is why. 81% of emails are opened and read on a mobile device. That's why you have to get to the point really, really quickly. And if you need your customer to take action, like sign a document or make a payment or review something or approve something, the best way to keep the momentum is to make sure it is possible for them to actually do what you're asking them to do on that phone. Because if they're going to have to come back to it later and check it on their desktop or something, like who knows? Who knows when they're going to come back to it? And chances are they're going to forget. And now you're going to end up wasting your time chasing them, pushing them to get their stuff done. So idea number 4, make absolutely sure that every step has everything the customer needs to get it done. And this is including instructions, or better yet, even maybe a short video, because you can't assume that they're going to remember what to do. And this is why. Research shows that people forget 66%, that's 2/3 of what they learned after 24 hours. So that's like spending 60 minutes in a customer kickoff meeting, and they only remember 20 minutes by the next day. They'll probably remember the big picture, but they're going to forget all the important nitty-gritty details, like how to upload files to your client portal, what file format you need, how many years of tax returns you need. And I remember an owner once told me that when he would ask new customers for their tax return, a lot of them would only remember to send over the first page. That's crazy, right? You would think it's obvious to send the entire thing, but it's not. And it's these little details, these I's that have to be dotted, these T's that have to be crossed, that is so easily forgotten. And that's what you want to put into a video so that your customers can watch it, A, on demand, and B, you're not wasting your time explaining the same thing over and over again. And guess what? Your customers want that too, because they don't want to have to stop and email you or call you. So if you provide that short video that explains exactly what you need them to do, it's going to save them time and it's going to save you time. So here's exactly what you need to say in your onboarding video. It's got 6 basic components. This is the structure, and it fits any kind of company. So as an example, let's pretend that I am a financial advisory firm, and this would be my video. So for the introduction, hi, I'm John, and as the owner of Polaris Financial, I'm excited to be working with you. I'm going to introduce you to members of my team that you'll be working with. It's going to be Meredith, my assistant, who will be helping you get set up in the client portal. It's going to be Angela, my associate. She'll be reviewing the financial statements you send over and making sure we have everything you need. And so this is where you want to introduce the rest of your team. Next, as we get started, we're going to ask you for your contact information, your financial information, and get you set up in our client portal. Don't worry, we'll walk you through the process and explain everything step by step. This is the part where you want to give your customers an overview of what the overall process looks like. Because again, you can't assume that they're going to remember. Next, the first thing we need from you is to complete this new customer questionnaire to get a high-level picture of your financial profile. Just click the link below. It should only take you about 5 minutes to complete. So you notice that I was very clear on what my step is, and I set their expectation on how long it's going to take. Once you complete this step, we'll schedule a quick meeting to discuss the exact details of what we need to complete your profile. Here again, I'm giving a preview of what the next step is going to be. And the last thing is, if at any point you need help, please go to our website and click on Get Help at the top right corner. See that? Very short, sweet, informative, and very simple. It only takes about a minute and a half to go through the entire thing. And if you're camera shy, you don't have to worry, because the only time you're going to have to be on camera is saying the first sentence, because all of the other sections, the team, the overview, first step, next step, help, all of those other sections, they need to be presentation slides anyway, because you need to be showing screenshots and pictures to your customer. And so you don't have to be on camera for any of that. So basically, if you can do a Zoom call like this, you can totally do this. And if you can imagine, the next step after this one, the next step could be about the customer portal that you have, maybe with a video showing them how to get access to it, how to upload a file, and so on. And the step after that is all about the documents that you need, like statements, how many years of tax returns, and so on. It will make everything so much clearer and simpler and easy to follow for everybody. And your customers are going to really like it as well. It's so helpful to your customers because, as Intuit here says, the most important thing about customer onboarding is teaching the customer how to work with you, your processes, and your tools. Don't make onboarding a trial and error experience. That is horrible. A guided step-by-step process is how you prevent mistakes and avoid wasting time on those frequently asked questions, because you've already addressed it in a way that doesn't require anybody to remember the details. And that's how you turn that 20-page packet that I showed you before, turn it into an easy to follow onboarding process that doesn't waste your time. Now, let's move on to another major problem area, which is support. So for support, we know, based on this survey that we saw before, according to PwC, we know customers want fast, they want convenient, and they want knowledgeable service. So given that, let's play a game again. How long do you think it takes as an industry average for the company to respond? Is it under an hour? Is it a day? Is it 2 days? What do you guys think? So the research shows that actually 62% of companies don't actually respond at all. And of the ones that do, the industry standard is 12 hours. Now compare that actually to 46% of customers expect a response within 4 hours. 4. And so again, we talked about that gap, right? That gap between expectations and reality. And this is the worst offender too, because we know customers want speed, they want convenience, they want knowledgeable service. So we know they want that. And don't drop the ball here, especially during the busy season, because this actually happened to my company. This is a true story. So we've been with our CPA firm for several years now. They recently switched us from one accountant to another, and the new accountant is really unresponsive to our emails. They sent us a checklist to do, and we're trying to follow it. But when we have a question, we send it over and it goes into like a black hole. We don't hear back from like days. My office manager told me we are clearly not a priority for them anymore. Like we need to make a change. And I agree. And just like that, multi-year customer gone. And this is why it's so important. The expectations that customers have is really high. And you don't get a lot of second chances. And we all know this, right? Most customers don't complain. They're not going to tell you that they're unhappy. They just up and leave. And so you can see here, 66% of customers will switch companies after only 2 bad experiences. And so there aren't a lot of chances to get this right. So idea number 5, you need to make sure that you respond to all customer requests in under 4 hours. Now, when I tell people about this, the most common response is that is impossible without a huge team, because customers contact me all the time, all day long, every single day. And there's no way that I can respond that quickly. And I'm here to tell you there actually is a way. And you don't need a giant team. And I'm not talking about having AI or bots or anything like that. I'm talking about really simple changes that you can do today. And here's how. So, idea number 6, create an intake process that multiple people can respond to. And here's what I mean. A lot of times I see this bottom of the email. It says, if you have any questions, just contact me or my assistant. And it lists a bunch of contact information, which, as an aside, if you're going to put all of that information out there, your phone, your email, cell phone, fax, all that kind of stuff, somebody's going to use it. And you're going to be contacted every which way. And that's going to make it really easy for you to lose track of things when it's like all over the place. But the biggest problem that you see here is that the customer is going to be contacting a specific person. You're funneling your questions to a very specific person, you or your assistant. And when that customer request comes in, that means it's going to sit in that person's email or it's that sit in that person's voicemail, and nobody else in your firm has access to it. So if you or your assistant is out at lunch or sick or on vacation, the customer question is going to come in and get stuck there because nobody's available to triage it. And that's not ideal for anybody. That's not ideal for you either, because now you're tethered to your inbox or to your phone, even when you're on vacation. You know, one owner told me, proudly in fact, that he works 6 days a week, even on vacation, because customers really depend on him. I hope that that is not the case for you. And if it is, let's work on how to make that a little bit more balanced. And you can start by doing something really simple, like using a group mailbox, maybe help@yourcompany.com or something like that. That way, multiple people in your firm can step in and help, especially if somebody gets bombarded or they get sick or they go on a vacation. And actually, ideally, you'd want all these support requests to go into a system that can be tracked and routed, which leads me to idea number 7. You want to use an intake form so that the requests can become immediately actionable. And this is what I mean. So one of my clients, before they set up a standardized intake process, would get emails like this. Jason, looking over the financials you sent over, the numbers don't look right, give me a call. Crazy, right? It's super vague, not a lot of context. And now you end up having to call, email, basically chase the customer for more information before you can actually do anything. Now you can avoid a lot of this back and forth by collecting critical information up front with something like this. So this is an example of a form, an intake form, that's really simple. Easy form with simple, clarifying questions that give you so much more context. And you can quickly figure out, like, is this going to be a hair on fire issue where you're going to have to drop everything because it's this year's tax return versus something minor, like can't get access to your client portal or something like that, where you can route that particular question to something junior or your assistant to handle. Now, what's nice about having a form like this is, in addition to getting structured information up front, is that you can collect these answers over time, which will tell you, number 1, where your customers are having trouble, and B, address those questions ahead of time in your videos. So if you turn this into a regular process where you review the data maybe every 3 months or every 6 months and make appropriate adjustments, the amount of time that you spend on support requests will definitely go down. And if you use a system behind the form like this, you can even automatically route questions to different people based on what answers the customers chose, so that no one is wasting time playing traffic cop or tethered to their phone or voicemail. And this is how you can be highly responsive without having a giant team. All right. So now that we covered support, let's go ahead and move on to the final area, which is deliverables. So idea number 8, include a video summary when you deliver. Because a lot of times when you deliver something like a tax return or a financial plan or an audit or something like that, there's usually next steps that you have to walk your customer through, right? That deliverable isn't the end all be all. And more importantly, it probably took you weeks to do this deliverable. And a lot of owners just send like an email, like, here it is, it's done, go and sign. Just think about, how is the customer going to value what you did if they don't understand or appreciate what you delivered? So having that video, as you can see here from Accounting Today, having that video is great to explain what you did to actually deliver better financial results for them. And number two, it addresses a lot of the very common follow-up questions. And customers like it because they can absorb it on their own time. And we know how customers value convenience. And so this is exactly what you need to say in your video summary. So this is a basic structure. It's got 5 sections, and it fits in any type of financial company. So as an example, let's pretend again that I am a financial advisory firm, and this would be my video. So hi, this is John. My team and I completed your 2020 tax returns. And as a summary, I want to go through some key next steps to finalize this year's tax return and tell you some things to take note of for next time. Don't worry, we'll walk you through everything you need to do and explain everything step by step. To get started, your first step is signing the authorization forms to allow us to e-file your returns for you. The forms are in the attached PDF, so just sign, date, and upload the documents into the client portal. It should only take you a few minutes, and the link to the client portal is below. Remember, you want to be very specific. And so notice that I was very, very clear on exactly what people needed to do. Now, next, once you complete uploading, in the next step, I'm going to go over some things to pay attention to next time. And if at any point you need help, please go to our website, click the Get Help link at the top right corner, and fill out the form. Someone will get back with you shortly. So that's what it looks like. Very short, to the point. It addresses a lot of the common questions, like what do I need to do next? Where's the link? And all that kind of stuff. Think about all the questions that you tend to get after you deliver something. And you can prevent a lot of it with a video. Now, imagine in the next step after this, where you're going to be talking about next year or next time. And this is where you want to show your expertise, be proactive, and talk about things like legal changes that could affect them next year, things to take note of. And lastly, you want to make sure you ask them for feedback on what you delivered and how you can make it easier for next time. Maybe even link them to a customer satisfaction survey. And that's the very last idea for today. Number 9, ask for that feedback after you deliver something. Make it a habit. Why? Because you can see here, according to CCW Digital, only 11% of customers felt that companies listened to their feedback and cared about improving the customer experience. So think about it. When was the last time you surveyed your customers and got a sense of how satisfied they were? Or when was the last time you implemented some of their suggestions? Now, if you go through this exercise and make it a regular habit, every single time you genuinely ask, you genuinely listen, your customers will tell you how you can improve. And if you implement the change that they suggested, they're going to love you for it because you genuinely listen to them. And everybody wants to be heard and understood. And so if you do that, that is how you create loyal customers that rave about you, which brings us back full circle. We want customers that rave about you, give you positive reviews, give you testimonials, all those things that you're looking for. And just this year, as you guys probably know, the SEC said testimonials can even be used in marketing materials for financial advisors. And so that's why we spend so much time and effort putting these processes in place, getting customer feedback, and then using that feedback to deliver great customer experience at scale without wasting your time. And so this is the 9 actionable ideas that we have. We went over a lot of ideas today, things that you can start doing immediately that can improve your customer experience. So I'm going to leave you, because we have a little bit of time, I'm going to leave you with a bonus, number 10, how to actually put it together. So if you're looking for a pure DIY approach, you definitely have options. So email, obviously, for communications. Sometimes you actually want to use text as well, because we all know not everybody reads emails sometimes, but they will respond to a text. A spreadsheet of some kind so that you can track status of onboardings, support requests, things like that. And most likely it'll need to be shared by everybody in your firm. And you'll also want a shared document so that, one, your onboarding process, your support process is documented step by step. And then two, in that document, you want to have pre-written email templates that correspond to every step in the process. And number three, you'll definitely want to document your frequently asked questions for those very common support requests. That way, anybody can answer customers and respond to them very, very quickly. Now, lastly, you're going to need an online forms tool. And if you have Google Forms, that's a really nice one, free form to have, because then customers can fill it out and they can give you all the key information up front, like kind of like how I showed you. Now, all of this is very manual. You will need someone to oversee all of this, but it is DIY. And if you have Google Suite, all of these tools are free. Now, if you're looking for a more holistic system, let me show you what one looks like using Pipeline. This is an example of a client onboarding process using Pipeline. And this is an example of a very holistic system. So you can see here we have an online form where people can enter their information as part of their onboarding. Online forms are super easy to use because all of those fields can be pre-filled, especially on a mobile device. And number two, very easy for people to complete with things like date pickers, required form fields, and so on. So I'm just going to go ahead and just enter in some of these things here. I don't have a spouse, I don't have a dependent, and my tax filings are up to date. So click submit, and this starts off the process. And that's super nice because I didn't have to wait for a meeting. I didn't have to wait for anything. I can go ahead and get started immediately. And after I submit, you can see here that it gives me a video, super nice, because then I can get that nice welcome video from the partner or from the associate or so on that tells me exactly what needs to happen. Now, once you fill out the form, what's going to happen is the system is automatically going to send the person the next step to take action on. So you can see here, step 1 of 2, and the action is I need to go and sign the customer engagement letter and book the meeting. So you can see very, very scannable, very actionable. So I'm just going to click the button that says here. I'm going to go to signing the client engagement letter. It already knows who I am, so everything is pre-filled for me. This helps me get onboarded and tells me exactly what that letter is about, gives me some instructions. I'm going to go ahead and click the letter here that takes me to sign. It'll open up DocuSign where I can go ahead and pre-fill everything in. Again, we want to go through all of this. Why? Because they could be opening this up in a mobile device, right? So all of this is super easy to do, especially on a mobile device. And you can even see here, I am go ahead and as part of our integration with DocuSign, we can even make payments directly from within the system. So if you're asking for a deposit, if you're charging for a retainer, boom, right there. Everything is together in one single shot. Very easy for customers to do. So I've done my DocuSign, I've paid my deposit. I'm not going to bore you with online calendar. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I've done all of that. I'm going to go ahead and click complete. And this moves me on. How quickly I'm going through here in just a couple of minutes. You can see that this is step 1 of 2. And so I know that I'm going to get 2 of 2. I'm going to get the second step very, very quickly. So let's jump back into my email. And you can see here, boom, step 2 is already waiting for me. Step 2 of 2, this is where I need to fill out a questionnaire, right? Very typical. And so the instructions are already pre-written. I don't have to keep writing this over and over again. I'm going to click the button, go to the questionnaire page. And again, I've got a nice video that can explain what the questionnaire is going to be about. And I'm going to go ahead and fill out the questionnaire as if I am onboarding for the very first time. For all of these, I'm going to go ahead and select no. As you can see here, nice wizard-driven interface. The questions are super easy, but very, very detailed. That way I can collect a lot of information up front, but very easy for someone like me, especially if I'm on a mobile phone, to complete. I'm going to go ahead and choose yes to say that, yeah, I acquired some virtual cryptocurrency last year. Everything else, I'm going to go ahead and say no. And notice that it doesn't want me to move forward because it wants me to upload something. So up at the top, it said that it wanted me to upload my income. So I'm going to upload my W-2. And notice something here. Pipeline makes it super easy to where if you need to, you can even take a picture from your phone, right? That again, 81% of emails are open on a mobile device, and you want it to be immediately actionable. So everything that we have here makes it super easy for people to complete on a mobile device. So uploaded my W-4, go ahead and click complete, and that's it. So I've done all of the steps that I needed to do, super easy. I went through this in probably 3 minutes, right? Look how far I was able to get as a customer in 3 minutes, and look how much information you were able to collect in just 3 minutes from me. So super, super easy, very quick, gets everybody moving. Now, after this, what I can show you here is an example of an email that somebody from your firm may receive after somebody onboards. And you can see here, we're sending this email to Meredith, and it's about me, Daniel, who just filled out all of the forms. And I took all of the information that I submitted from my questionnaire, and look, I created a super easy scorecard based on the questions from the questionnaire. That way I can very quickly see and be super prepared for my meeting. So you can see here, I do not want to file a tax return. I did not make estimated tax payments. Everything else is a check. Very easy for me to know exactly what's going on. So super easy for me. So this gives you an idea of what pipeline is about. So quick summary of what a holistic experience could look like that you saw with pipeline. Super fast, efficient, and convenient. No apps to download. Notice that I never had to download anything. No logins to remember. Every single step was immediately actionable. Number two, every step is guided with pre-written instructions, so I didn't have to keep writing it, with videos that once you set it up, you can just let it run by itself. The system will do all the heavy lifting for you, so you're not wasting your time. And every single step is immediately actionable, even on a mobile device. And second, super easy for people in your firm, because once you collect the information up front, you should be able to create scorecards like this and automatically route requests to people based on certain criteria so that you don't have to waste time playing traffic control cop. And lastly, if you want to stay on top of everything that's going on, get a bird's eye view of everything, all the onboarding stuff, all the support stuff, see everything that's in flight. You can see a dashboard like this. And our clients found that when you're well prepared like this, organized, have an automated system like Pipeline, it becomes a game changer to how they work. So if you're looking for technology that can be a game changing for you, and you like what you see with Pipeline, go ahead and open up your Zoom chat and enter your business phone into the chat. It's a very affordable, no annual contracts, cancel at any time. Go ahead and put in your business phone, and someone from my team will contact you later today after this lunch and learn to go over details on how to get started. And as an attendee for this webinar, we have a special for you that we'd love to tell you about. Now, if you already have technology and just want someone to provide strategy and guidance on how to implement what you already have, take the lessons and ideas that you learned here today and implement them using your technology and take you to that next level. And we provide pure consulting services on customer experience. So again, open up that Zoom chat, enter your business phone into the chat, and someone from my team will contact you after this call. And if you're looking for both technology and strategy, just enter in your business phone and someone will contact you. We'd love to get started for you.